The Bible tells us of two men named Lazarus. One, a beggar covered in sores, lay at a rich man's gate. He longed for scraps from the wealthy table, finding comfort only in the companionship of stray dogs. The other, Lazarus, was a dear friend of Jesus living in Bethany. Though their lives were different, their stories intertwined to teach us about God's love and the true meaning of wealth. Life had not been kind to Lazarus the beggar. From dawn till dusk, he wandered the streets, searching for scraps of food and a place to rest his weary head. His days were filled with endless suffering and his nights with cold and loneliness. Every day was a struggle for survival. The world around him moved on, indifferent to his plight. People passed by, often without a second glance, as if he were invisible. He was hungry, he was sick, and he was alone. His body ached from the constant exposure to the elements, and his spirit was weary from the relentless hardship. Yet, in his suffering, he remained faithful. Each day he found solace in his prayers, hoping for a miracle, a sign that his life could change. He longed for a better life, not just a life free from pain, but a life filled with God's presence. He dreamed of a world where he was no longer an outcast, but a cherished member of a loving community. He yearned for a place at a different table, the heavenly banquet where all are welcome, a place where there was no hunger, no pain, and no loneliness. The rich man, consumed by his wealth, failed to see the need right outside his door. His life was filled with luxury, but his heart was empty. He was blind to the suffering of Lazarus, too focused on his own comfort and pleasures. His eyes were fixed on his riches, and his ears were deaf to the cries of the needy. He had everything the world offered but lacked the most important thing, compassion. In his pursuit of wealth he had lost his humanity, failing to see that true richness comes from the heart. In Bethany, Lazarus, the friend of Jesus, fell ill and died. The news of his illness spread quickly, and many were deeply saddened by his passing. Bethany, a small village, was filled with mourners who came to pay their respects. Jesus, arriving 4 days later, wept openly for his friend. His tears showed his deep love and compassion, touching the hearts of those around him. The scene was filled with sorrow and grief. Though death seemed final, Jesus, filled with divine power, called out, "Lazarus, come forth!" His voice echoed with authority, resonating through the tomb and beyond. And Lazarus, to the astonishment of all, walked out of the tomb, still wrapped in grave clothes. The crowd gasped in disbelief, witnessing a miracle unfold before their eyes. This miracle was not merely about restoring life to a dead man. It was a profound demonstration of divine intervention, a moment that transcended human understanding. It was a testament to Jesus' power over death and a promise of the resurrection to come. This act of raising Lazarus was a foreshadowing of the greater resurrection that Jesus himself would soon experience. It was a beacon of hope, a glimpse of heaven's power breaking through to earth. This miracle reassured the faithful that life, even after death, was possible through the divine power of Jesus. Both Lazaruses eventually die. Their earthly journeys come to an end, as all lives inevitably do. The beggar, who had suffered so much in life, is carried by angels to Abraham's side, a place of eternal peace and comfort. The beggar, we are told, finds solace in the arms of Abraham, in a place of peace and comfort. His suffering is no more, replaced by everlasting joy and rest. The rich man, however, finds himself in torment. Despite his wealth and power during his lifetime, he is now in a place of agony and despair, far removed from the luxury he once knew. He begs for even a drop of water, his earthly wealth meaningless in the face of eternity. The riches he once flaunted cannot save him now, and he is left to suffer the consequences of his choices. This stark contrast reveals a powerful truth. Earthly wealth is fleeting, but the riches of heaven are eternal. The material possessions we accumulate mean nothing in the grand scheme of eternity. Where we store our treasures, in worldly possessions, or in our relationship with God, determines our eternal destiny. The choices we make in life echo in the afterlife, shaping our eternal future. Let us therefore live with open hearts, seeking to serve others and build our treasures in heaven. Acts of kindness and love are the true measures of wealth that last beyond our earthly existence. Let us remember that true wealth lies not in what we possess but in whom we choose to follow. By living a life of faith and compassion, we secure a place in the eternal embrace of divine love.